What's up, gym owners? My name is Nick Flamini from the Fitness Business Fast Track. Now, if you're here, you're about to witness the very first weekly live gym growth workshop. And if you're seeing this video, it means that you were unable to attend live. What I want to encourage each and every one of you to do is to watch this video with a high level of intention, take notes, and watch it all the way through. Now, if you find the video to be valuable, I highly encourage you to click the link in the description and join us at absolutely no cost every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But before you do that, watch the video, see the value that we're providing every single week, and enjoy the workshop. Number one problem that gym owners are experiencing: they're working with agencies, they've worked with companies like ours, maybe they're trying to do stuff on their own, and a lot of times we get the same exact story, which is why this is where we want to start with these workshops, is delivering around lead quality. So I'm going to give a really quick example. The average lead cost right now in 2026, depending on the gym type and the economics of your local market, is going to be anywhere from $15 a lead all the way up to $50. And those numbers aren't bad. In either case, it just depends on market saturation, your competition, the bidding war, how much you're spending. But the problem is this, and I want to disclose this: any numbers that we use in the workshop today, okay, they're not necessarily good or bad. It's about perspective on what it actually takes to drive qualified clients. Okay, how it applies directly for you and how you can measure what the cost is and whether it's good or not for your gym. We will discuss that at the very end and how you can apply these to make sure those numbers are right for you. And one other note as people pop on: each and every one of these workshops, if you're looking for a recap, will be posted, okay, on YouTube every week. It's going to be a 2-week delay, but 2 weeks behind, we will be posting every one of these workshops. So if you miss it, it's all good. The only thing we will not be posting is the live Q&A at the end. So here's the case study, right? The $35 lead that cost you $700. Doesn't sound like a great bargain because it's not. Let's dive into this a little bit. This is a story that probably feels all too familiar, okay? You go to sleep, a form fills out at 11 p.m. The next day, a no-show consult. Maybe you get them to respond. They ask about a free trial, and then you're only left with a price objection. Now, drop a 1 in the chat if this is something that you've experienced running ads on your own or working with previous agencies. I need people to participate, right? So Cameron said 1, Will said me. I'm just going to make a gross assumption, say everybody that has run ads to some degree has had to have experienced this. We have enough data to know that this is true to some degree, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that every lead every time is going to be highly qualified, because that's not true. But this is a story that has been brainwashing the industry to teaching people 1 or 2 ways to generate leads, leaving people starved to figure out how to sustainably grow their gym. There's a difference between knowing how to market and generating leads. And here's the key: volume does not matter without quality. It's that simple. So we're going to talk about this a little bit more. So here's the story that we want to fix. The 3 levers that we need to assess are your market, why the economics of your local market cannot be ignored. That's 1. Number 2 is why your marketing should act as both the magnet and the filter to drive high quality leads. And then 3, how to use real data to create a feedback loop to continue to increase the quality of the lead and repeat success. All 3 of these are critically important. You cannot do one and yield a high level of predictable success. Okay, it has to be all 3. And we're going to talk about why. I may even overlap or jump ahead, so everyone stay with me. This is not a scripted presentation. Okay, each lever in the exact order represents volume and availability. We're not going to get too deep into the terminologies on what they actually mean. Quality and predictability. So we're going to flip-flop really quick. Your market will determine volume and availability. The asset that you've created and your distinct marketing position will determine the quality of the people that come through the door. And then the data and how you circulate that back into your system that you're going to create over the next couple weeks with us, okay, is going to create the predictability. It's going to help you repeat success. Figure out what's working and what's not working until you become a market leader within the zip code or zip codes that you operate within. Okay, Paris said, I'm a newbie, so I'm learning from scratch. Perfect. You're in the right spot. Okay. Gym owners do not have a lead problem. for volume. It is a quality problem. So the first thing that we need to identify is this, okay? And my screen's on the right, so you guys are going to see me glancing to the side here. First, let's define what a lead fit actually is. That's a high quality lead. Do they fit what it is that you're selling? And what is a lead quality problem? What is the lead fit problem? Okay, I would write this down. A lead fit problem is unintentionally attracting a high percent of low quality leads. Okay, that's what it is. Unintentionally attracting a high percent of low quality leads. And it's only for one of two reasons. You're either placing the ads in front of the wrong audience, or this happens, but it's much less frequent. The audience you're trying to serve does not exist in your local market. Also happens. I'm going to give you a very easy example just so you understand what I mean by that. Okay? For the second option, well, let's do both. For option number one, if you're unintentionally attracting high quality leads, maybe you have a high end small group training program, but all you're getting is people that can't afford anything other than a Planet Fitness membership. That means you're putting the ads in front of the wrong people. And there's a lot of reasons why that might be the case. So again, overgeneralization, I just want you to understand what I'm saying. On the next example, if that's not the case, you feel like you're getting qualified leads, but there's just not a lot of them no matter what you do. It's like when they come in, they're good, but you just can't get enough. The thing to consider is there a product fit for what you're doing at volume. If you have a rugby training camp, okay, which is not a popular sport in the United States, in the suburbs of South Texas, and you're struggling to gain revenue, well, the chances are there's probably not a lot of people in South Texas that are in market for an exclusive rugby training program. Now, if you take that same product and you bring it over to New Zealand or Australia or to Wales, it's probably going to be a hot commodity because the sport is a massive sport overseas in those countries. You cannot force demand. You can only capture it. Okay, so sometimes we see people have outdated models. That needs to be changed. Maybe the model's great, but the way that you're telling the audience what you do, they think it's something different, and therefore you don't exist to them. So we have a lead problem, but it's a lead quality problem, and it's only for one or two reasons. Putting the ads in front of the wrong people, or the market simply doesn't exist. We need to assess both options. This is something that I want everyone to understand because we get obsessed with numbers. Okay, these are just examples. Again, depending on the market, it's going to be a wide variety of what's considered good, depending on how saturated what you do is and where you're located. I want everyone to participate in answering this with full transparency. This is a would you rather game. Would you rather get 100 leads and it cost you 700 to acquire the client, or would you rather get 40 leads and it cost you $95 to acquire the client? Okay, drop a 1 in the chat if you want to spend $700 to acquire a client. Or drop a 2 in the chat if you want to spend $95 to acquire the client. Option 1 or option 2? Okay, Paris is a newbie. She answered correctly. It should be 2s all the way down. There we go. John says 2. Ronan says 2. Thomas says 2. Shannon says 2. Lewis says 2. Lewis, what's up, man? I met with Lewis a bunch. Lewis is the man. Here's one of the things that's not taught in the gym industry. This is where people have become brainwashed. Everyone is obsessed with cost per lead. Look at the lead cost. Each of them are $35. The difference is how many members are you getting, how efficient is the spend, and why can one be way more efficient than the other? Okay, we're going to get into that. Spend less, get the same amount. This is probably a concept that when explained is going to seem really obvious, but I just haven't seen anyone teach this in particular. There's Paris. There we go. What's up, man? Thanks for coming on screen. I appreciate it. Lead fit is an upstream battle. A matter of fact, forget marketing. Business is always about solving problems upstream. And if you're not familiar with what upstream means in business, let's define downstream, which I have in quotes at the bottom of the screen. Downstream would be attempting to correct the problem where it appears rather than where it occurs at the source. Here's an example everyone here should know. You ever have somebody come into the gym, they say they've tried 10 programs, but they've never been able to lose the weight. They know that overeating is a problem. Well, they probably think that the downstream is the answer. They think that the last program didn't work. I need a different fitness program. Forget about all fitness programs not being created equal. The upstream approach is that, well, if you've exercised enough, regardless of the program, the metric that's not making sense because you've tried 3 or 4 other things is that you're overeating. We need to exercise. You came to the right place, but we also have to reduce the amount that we're eating. We're not going to just always be able to outwork the amount of food that we have. Gym owners are doing the same exact thing that you experience with your clients when it comes to marketing. Can you see my cursor on the screen too? Can someone give me a thumbs up? Paris says yes. Okay, thank you. Gym owners are focused right here. And people might say, well, isn't the offer the ad? No. Okay, it's not. They're at the hip like this, but it's not the same thing. They're tied together, and let me just explain exactly why. If an ad's not working, we change the creative, maybe we change the copy, maybe we just change the angle. We keep slapping spaghetti on the wall until we try to see what sticks. This is not effective. This is why people go from one agency to the next agency to just doing it on your own to trying another, hiring a college kid, whatever it is. It just down the line, we keep trying new things. Changing the ad is not going to change how effective your approach is without learning the things that we're about to uncover. Okay, this is very important. So upstream means we need to understand our market and our avatar. This is the source of our problem. It's not the creative and it's not the offer. It's that you are not doing the research that's required to effectively market the position that you're in. So step 1, we need to understand the positioning. Step 2, what is the actual asset? And it should be distinct asset. So everyone write that down because it's not in the presentation at all. How are you creating a distinct asset that stands out in a market? You're all in local markets. It's a finite market. It's not unlimited people forever. This is important to know. This is why churn is really important too. There's not always going to be new people, but there will be new competition. Then it's the ad, still important, and then it's the data. The ad is the least important thing. The ad is just where are we placing it? Okay? The asset in the offer is creating something distinct that resonates with the buyer or buyers that you serve, depending on what you offer. Okay, let's continue to dig in here. I want everyone right now to really think about this. I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want a simple yes or no in the chat. Yes. Don't answer yet. I'll give you a minute to think about it because I'm going to clarify. Yes, if you firmly understand in great detail the exact demographic metrics of your local market. No, if it's like, if you don't know it at all, or, oh, I grew up in the town, it's middle class, blue collar. I'm talking these numbers here. Do you know right now, could you definitively, if I fact check you on Google publicly, and I'll do it, could you tell me the household median income of your local market? Could you tell me the age distribution? Could you tell me the direct competitor density? And if they're running ads? Can you tell me the price point of your competitors? And do you know what the total available market is? So yes or no, drop it in the chat. And we're all here to win, guys. So everyone, like, I'm not saying someone doesn't know, but we know that on average, most people don't. And in most cases, we don't see that people are getting this serviced for them. Now, without knowing this information, it's going to be really hard to win. But some people get lucky. Competition can be low. We could have buyers that resonate with general cookie cutter offers. This does happen, by the way. But if we want to increase the odds of success and we haven't been able to win the way that we want, we have to understand all 5 of these things. And this is really easy. You can literally just use Google to find all of this out. No secret. You guys are going to learn stuff today and you're going to say there was no secret, because there's not. It's just about following the best practices that no one is talking about. Get these 5 things in place, and now we're going to be able to start to learn exactly what needs to be done. This is what we do for all of our clients. And a few of you I know, you've met with me. We've talked about this. This is a real snapshot. We have worked with somebody recently that signed up in December. Okay. As of last month, well, as of this month, is 2 weeks ago, we pulled this data. This person is 40% up in revenue. They've decreased their churn rate by 50%, but their member count went down by 30%. Let's explain why that doesn't matter. You can look at the metrics down here. Now, the average revenue per member, okay, so their membership cost, they were selling mainly only twice a week programming. Their rate for twice a week is 175. Their rate for 4 days a week is 350. They were almost exclusively only signing twice a week. Now they're almost exclusively selling four. Okay, so they had 200 members. They went down to 140. They went from 175 to an average of 350. Their monthly revenue went from 35,000 to 49,000, and they cut their churn in half. Now, what's going to happen is their churn rate, their member count, since they cut churn in half, their member count is going to go, it went like this, and now it's going to go back up. The reason it went down isn't from implementing this. We just went back a slide. Hopefully everyone with their camera off is watching. This is really important. No problem, Paris. I got your comment there. Not an issue. The reason that the member count went down isn't because they made these adjustments that you see on the screen here, these 5 steps. It went down because of their previous strategy, and it hasn't caught up yet, a rolling 90-day churn rate. It's going to take 90 days to 6 months to weed out all the people that were never meant for your facility in the first place. So now we're forecasting the member count is likely going to go up by, 10 to 15 people per month. Just going to be what happens. And so this is an actual case study of what happens. You may see temporarily when you go through this process. It's not just about member count. You run a business. This is about becoming as profitable as possible. That's what it looks like. Okay. The next thing here is the asset. How many people have been told that what they need to do to their leads is just hammer the leads harder and harder? Call them, text them, email them. Be relentless. Drop a 1 in the chat if you've experienced that. You got to double down on dials. Shannon put a 1,000 in there. Okay, so yeah, this is very common. I'm going to be really abundantly clear here. Follow-up is definitely important. Speed to lead is also definitely important. However, this is usually from a greater symptom. Remember that upstream versus downstream. Upstream approach here is looking at everything from an efficient standpoint. If you're running a free 7-day pass or a 6-week challenge with no context, there's no filtration mechanism. Your marketing needs to not only be the magnet, it needs to be the filter. Your marketing should be magnetic, but it should also say who we're for and who we're not. And that can be for more than one avatar, but it has to be explicit, especially in today's world. Everybody's used to seeing the same stuff. Everything looks the same. How many people have seen a gym do $1 down to join? I'm talking a big box gym. Anyone see $1 down to join? Has anyone see a free 7-day pass? Yeah. Has anybody seen a 6-week challenge free? Okay. And by the way, all of those offers, that's an offer, work. The problem is that none of them are created into distinct assets. And they're not the only offers that are effective. There's 100 other offers that are effective. The marketing has to be a part of the filter. Make that as a note. The marketing is the magnet and the filter. Otherwise, you're just throwing money out the window. Here's the examples, right? I put 7-day pass free challenge, attract everyone, and then your lobby needs to sort. If you have a team of people, that is fine. You're in a health club, it's 40,000 square feet. You got 7 salespeople, probably have the time to make calls all day and sort through this. If you're a studio owner and you're under 5,000 square feet and you're wearing multiple hats, guess what you don't have time to do? Sort through the garbage and waste your marketing spend. Okay, so instead of a free 7-day pass or a challenge, let's say that you have small group training for adults, just as an example. Adults over 40 are feeling younger, stronger, and healthier in 12 weeks using this age smart strength system. This isn't ChatGPT either. And I'm not saying that every ad has to be written this way. Not every ad has to be written like that, but this is an example. Here's the formula. It's really simple. Are you guys ready for this? You can write it in one sentence. Who's your avatar? What's the outcome? What's the time frame? And then what is the mechanism? Look, avatar, adults over 40. Outcome, Younger, stronger, healthier. Time frame in 12 weeks. Mechanism, age smart strength system. Very simple. Now, this is not a 12-week challenge. This just says when they're going to experience the benefit. This leads into your sales positioning. Anyway, this is it right here. Okay, so if you guys take anything away from today, audit your process. Is this something that we're doing at all? Some people would be yes. If you're doing this and it's not matching, is it lined up with your local market? Is it lined up with the demographics? Is it positioned differently than your competition? So we need to tie all this together. There's a lot of moving pieces. Okay, so this is how you get marketing that sorts for you. You have to speak to people. All right, the last thing here is the data. I would say this, we don't want to get too lost in the data, particularly on this workshop. We're going to have a call. We're actually going to have a guest on. I don't want to announce who it is yet, but we are going to have a guest on where we're going to go through the data, how to make it really simple and how you can streamline that to just not ever have to worry about it or plug formulas in. You can just understand how to measure your marketing success. We may be doing that next week or the week after. We're going to announce it and let you know, but we are going to talk about it a little bit. Marketing has to be built off of predictability, and even what works really well is going to change. You might see ad fatigue or offer fatigue. The market's looking for just a fresh take on stuff. This is going to happen. But the data is the key to all of it. Okay. And it's not anything other than tracking what's going on in your gym and inside your ads manager. Whether you're advertising on social media organically, you can track a lot of that. Whether you're advertising on Meta, whether you're advertising on Google, which is totally untapped in most markets. Everyone's obsessed with Meta. Most of you should be really focused on Google as well. It's super important. But let's talk about the data. Everyone talks about the cost per lead. I find that to be relevant, but mainly irrelevant because we need to measure the cost for right fit clients. What is the cost of an MQL, a qualified lead, not just a lead? What is the cost of a right fit lead? That's number one. We have to be able to sort that. Number two is the show up rate. You probably all heard this before. Then your consult to close. What's your closing percentage? And finally, your monthly churn. Very important. Drop a one in the chat if you guys are familiar with all four of these things. One person. I don't believe that. All right, drop a two in the chat. Then let's make sure everyone's awake. Drop a two in the chat if you're not familiar with all four of these things, and that's fine as well. Okay. Cool. So we've got a mix, right? We got a mix. So let's just go through it really quick. Number one, for those that aren't familiar, your cost per lead would just be the cost of every lead that came through your system from your marketing efforts. Now what we have to do is have a way of measuring whether or not they're qualified. And so your main qualifiers are going to be interest-based, solution-based, and financially based. If they meet all three of those despite objections, we're going to mark them as a qualified lead, right? And then what is the cost that it took to get that one person? So if you have 5 bad leads, it's very important we don't mess this up. If you have 5 bad leads and 1 good one, then it's all 6 that you have to calculate into that cost. Okay. The next is the show up rate. Did they attend? Why or why not? Very easy to calculate that. Consult to close rate. If they did show, what percentage of them actually closed? Then finally, how many members are you losing per month based off of the total roster? And you should also be measuring how many churn off of different offer types. If you have a clear winner in terms of acquisition, but it also has this, it's the same ad that people are, you notice that it's tied back, people that are leaving at a higher rate are tied back to that same offer or ad, not good. So your biggest producer can be your worst enemy. Hopefully everyone understands that. Retention is the name of the game, by the way. Everyone that's here, if you implement what I'm telling you, you're not going to have a lead quality problem. It's going to be about retention. All right, so bad right fit CPL would mean that you have a mismatch or targeting problem. A bad show rate would mean that your lead fit isn't there, or you have a confirmation sequence issue. Bad close rate could be your avatar mismatch. This could lead back to one of the two problems, whether you're just putting the ads in front of the wrong people or your market doesn't exist in your market and you have to reframe your product. And then bad 90-day retention, right? You sold the wrong person or you need better MI. MI is member integration. So when someone comes through and becomes a member, what is the client journey? What are the touch points? Very important. That's going to be something that we talk about in a different workshop. That's a 6 weeks worth of material going through member integration. All right. This is what I want everyone to do tonight. This is it. It's very simple. And then we're going to open up for Q&A here because we're about 30, almost 35 minutes in. We want to stay on track. I want to be able to answer questions. This is what everyone should do. Go to Google or ChatGPT. I do not care. Please get all of the numbers that you need for your local market. Get the household median incomes. Okay. Understand who your competition is. Understand their price points. Get all of this data. Put it into a spreadsheet. Very easy. Put it into a Google Doc. Whatever works. Research all the stuff that you see here. Okay. So research the demographics. Do a competitive analysis on the top 5 people in your local market. And then what you have to do is look for the data that you have in your CRM and your client roster. And you need to look for commonalities and trends on the type of people that are in your facility and that who you're attracting. If you do that and you go through everything, it's going to be very obvious how you can reposition your offer and your marketing mechanisms. Okay. You need to redesign the business market position to become a distinct asset and let your marketing filter the leads for you. This is going to save time, be efficient on spend. You're going to stop getting ghosted or stop getting bad leads. You might even get less leads, but you're going to get more booked appointments and more conversions, just like the example we showed you earlier today. So here's the key takeaway from the last 35 minutes. The fundamental base of figuring out how to solve lead quality does not start with a too good to be true offer. It starts and stems, again, upstream, from understanding your local market. I just want to really hammer home, do not do anything if you don't have these numbers in place. It is the key reason people get stuck. Or if it is working, the amount of money you're leaving on the table as a result of not having this immediately at your disposal at any given day. So there's no sexy answer. That's what needs to be done first and foremost. Now, next week, we're going to go into some of the nuances of exactly how to execute it. And we're going to have a guest on as well. It's going to go through some of the data, which is going to be a really fun thing. And so here's what we're going to do. We didn't announce this in the beginning because we were afraid people were still going to be popping on. So for those of you that showed up, there's one thing before we open up for Q&A that I want to announce. This is a free weekly workshop. Every week we're going to be on here talking about different topics. The next 3 weeks is all lead quality. This is step 1. We're going to have 2 more episodes just on lead quality. You can come on any given Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. This is a place that we're always going to be live streaming, teaching lessons and helping gym owners grow. So this is not one and done. This is going to be every single week, a free resource. Now, we're not giving things away every week, but we will be giving things away. Okay, so for example, we have something to give away today, and we're probably not giving anything away next week. But for early May, one of the things that I can tell you is we're giving away 3 websites. We're going to do free web builds, no strings attached, redoing everyone's website to 3 people that actually attend, show up, and are putting the work in on these workshops. So we are going to be providing incentives for people to show up, no strings attached. So this is basically what we're offering you guys for today. Okay, to know the market, to get the asset, to create a distinct asset, and to collect the data. We have 2 things that we could do for next week. And this is just exclusive to everybody here. You can take this, you can run the exercise tonight as it's designed, come back next week with questions, and I will answer them live. The second thing that we're allowing anyone today, and Leo's going to drop a link if anybody wants to book with our team to do this. Okay, this is going to be, and I want to be very explicit, we are not doing this next week. This is just a this week thing. Next week, we're not doing this. Okay, it takes a lot for our team to do these, and they're complementary to help gym owners grow. Our team can walk you through the process. We can get the numbers for you. We can design the plan. We'll do it in 45 minutes. Okay, so we'll do a local marketing analysis. We'll recraft your offer with you. We'll learn your metrics, and we'll do this with you one-on-one. Okay, that's complimentary for anyone that's here. It's exactly what we do with our clients. Yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Leo will answer them for you. Okay, so if you're here and you want to take advantage of that, you could do it. Do you actually have a service where you design the ad for us? Yeah, we do, but what I would suggest is that if you're not familiar with us, I would just take advantage of that first and just see how far that could take you now that we're doing these. But yeah, we do have services that can execute on that. But I would recommend first going through that and seeing how effective it is before you consider something else with us. Truthfully, there's going to be a lot of value in that session. Yeah, for sure. So go ahead and do that. Anyone that hasn't done it with us before, it's going to be really high value. And we are not doing these next week. This is a one-time thing. Okay, I want to open this up for Q&A based on what we learned today. So for those of you that I have not had the pleasure of seeing on screen, go ahead and put your cameras on or unmute, or drop a one in the chat if you want me to call your name to answer any questions. But there is a live coaching component every single week, and I really want everyone here to value the hands-on experience. So Paris, you dropped a one in. Let's start with you. What can I answer for you? All right, welcome back. You have made it through the first weekly Gym Growth Workshop. If you found value in this video, I encourage you again to go to the bio, click the link, and register for free. You can jump on any given Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We are going to continue to provide more and more value every single week, including special guests, free tickets to future events, and if you watch the whole video, you know that there's going to be giveaways throughout every single workshop. You'll also notice that the Q&A was cut out of the recording. The reason is that out of the respect for the gym owners that show up every single week to attend these workshops, we are keeping it exclusive to encourage you as well to show up live. This is the most important part of the entire workshop, where we can get hands-on with every single person that decided to attend. This is live, free, and available coaching after the workshop that you could be getting every single week. And our way of encouraging you to see that Q&A is to attend and show up yourself. So if you found this to be valuable, click the link in the bio, attend the next workshop, and I hope to see you there. If not, make sure you hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for future episodes. And until then, we'll see you soon.